Hi, I'm Juyang. In this video, we'll introduce two ways of making money from your Bada apps: in-app purchasing and advertising. Here's the app we'll be using to demonstrate in-app purchasing. Imagine the scene. You've been busy fighting evil and you want to upgrade your gear. In the in-game shop, you can spend real money on virtual goods to enhance your game experience. If you reach expert status in the game, you can even buy additional levels to keep your game challenging. Keep your players interested, and you can create a steady flow of income from your game. The second feature covered in this video is the Samsung Ad Hub. The Ad Hub lets you generate revenue from in-app advertising. You can choose how often ads are displayed, where they're shown on screen, and even target ads based on users' age, gender, or location. Whatever works best for you. The more effective your ads, the more revenue you can potentially generate. We'll show you how to use both in-app purchasing and advertising in your apps. We'll explain how to set everything up and walk you through some sample code. Here are the components we use for in-app purchasing. Applications use the Commerce Store namespace to interact with in-app purchase items available on Samsung App's seller site. The Commerce Store namespace provides classes and methods for retrieving information and purchasing items from Samsung Apps. Samsung Apps allows users to buy apps and app-related items. This is different from the Samsung Apps Seller Office, which is the admin site for app developers. The Seller Office allows you to register your apps, their in-app sell items, and make changes to the items available. Let's have a look at how we implement in-app purchasing. To sell items from within your application, you need to create a seller account and register your application and its items at Samsung App's Seller Office. Initially, you'll be given free distribution seller status, but to add groups and items, you'll need to request a commercial seller account. Once you get your commercial seller status, you'll be able to add in-app purchase items. To start, go to Applications, Item. Create an item group by clicking Add Item Group. Make sure you make a note of the item group ID, as you will need to use it in your app's code. Add the item selected group. Register your application by clicking Add New Application. Then, register your items with the application by selecting the item group ID. If you want to change an item's price or add or remove items from your app once it's deployed, just log on to the Seller Office. You don't need to make changes to your code or re-release your app. The Commerce Store namespace includes the following classes which are used to implement in-app purchasing. These classes support getting item information from Samsung Apps, retrieving a list of purchase items, and allowing the user to purchase an item from within your application. To receive item information from the Samsung server, use the Item Service class. Item details such as name, price, and descriptions are provided in the Item Info class. We've derived our Kathmandu form from the iItem Service Listener class to receive events associated with the Item Service class. First, initialize the Item Service object. Now, call the getItemList method to request the group of items. The item group ID parameter is the group ID value generated when we created the item group on the Seller Office website. The item list will be returned in the onItemListReceivedN callback, which we have implemented in our Kathmandu form class. To get a list of items that the user have purchased from the Samsung server, we use the Purchase Info class. First, we create and construct an object of the class Purchase Service. Next, we call the getPurchaseInfo method to request a list of items that the user has purchased. The parameters include the item group ID, which is the ID generated when we created the item group. We also pass additional parameters such as the date range to be used in the search. The Kathmandu form class derives from the iPurchaseService listener, and the list of purchase items is returned to us in the onPurchaseInfoReceivedN callback. So, the player now wants to purchase an item from within our app. Maybe an extra level, sword, or a potion. To allow this, we call the PurchaseItem method of the PurchaseService class, passing the item group ID and item ID. This sends a purchase request to Samsung Apps, which takes care of the rest of the payment process. The onItemPurchaseCompleted callback function gets called when the transaction is complete. This function also gets called if the user cancels the purchase or the transaction fails for some other reason. Distributing an ad-supported version of your app offers another way to recoup your development costs. With very little additional coding, you can integrate adverts using the classes in the Ads Controls namespace. In-app ad support is included with version 2.0 of the SDK and can be added to SDK version 1.2. If you want your app to support ads, make sure you specify the ad service privilege when you create your app's manifest file. Let's look at how to support in-app advertising. First, you need to set up the ad component for your app, and to do this, you need to register at samsungadhub.com. Once this is set up, you'll have an inventory ID which you'll use in your code to start requesting ads. To set up the ad component, log into developer.bada.com. Go to the My Application section, choose Component Setup, and select your application. If you have selected the ad service privilege for your app, then advertisement appears in the Setup Component section. Choose Advertisement and click Detail. Then click Inventory Management. The first step is to fill in inventory information. Create a new inventory for your app, fill in the inventory information and click Continue. Next, specify the ad networks that you would like to sign up for and click Continue. Finally, configure the mediation rules for the selected ad networks and click Save. Now, note down the inventory ID which you'll use in your code. Let's see how Kathmandu supports ads. First, we create an ad object and construct it, passing the inventory ID we created and when we set up the ad component. Our form is derived from iAdListener, so we get notified when ads are received. Notice that we're using the set keywords and set extra info methods to provide relevant information to the user. This will result in better targeting of the ads, making them more interesting, relevant, and likely to be clicked. In our code, we request ads at a regular interval. Once we call the requestAd method, the banner will be automatically updated when it receives the ad from the server. We get notified in the onAdReceive method when an ad has been received. If we want to do any extra processing, we can do this in this method. In this video, we explained how to make use of in-app purchasing and advertising in Bada. We showed you how to set up items in your virtual store and targeted ads in your app. These are both useful ways of increasing the return on your investment. We hope this video helps your app become a commercial success. Thanks for watching.